Hey everyone, and welcome to Big Red Homestead. I'm Josh, that's Caleb, and today we are joined by a very, very special guest. We got Chancellor Brewington, C Brew, from the channel D&D, his YouTube channel. So obviously, of course, check it out down in the description below. Chancellor, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. I've been seeing y'all go crazy on YouTube, so it's nice to get on here and chop it up with y'all.
Dude, hey, we appreciate it. Obviously, it's going to be a blast today. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So off the rip, obviously, we just want to start off real simple, icebreaker for you. I mean, what was your favorite moment as a Husker? We had a lot of questions in the Discord and on the channel about this. So where you at? What's your best Husker memory?
I just really loved something about that Rutgers game, man. That, being down.
Oh, okay.
Going into halftime.
Yeah,
going into halftime, being down 13-0, coming back, defense holds them, second half, and, Trey goes and scores that last touchdown.
Dude.
Travis.
Oh, yeah.
Got his first touchdown back at Rutgers, where he was from. First touchdown as a Husker. So that was one. And then I would just say, I don't know, just being in the locker room with the guys. There's so many moments I have, man. And obviously the last game, beating Iowa.
I mean, right.
Always,
that's a staple.
Always satisfying. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Ending that, celebrating on their field, grabbing the trophy, in the end zone and taking it to our fans. That was something special. Definitely a good way to end your college career.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, if you're gonna go out, at least go out with a win against Iowa. I mean, that's about as good as sweet as it can feel, right? Right. Exactly.
That Rutgers game was fun. You're right. The 13-0. That Anthony Grant just absolutely shoulders the dude, and you have the great reaction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just sets the tone for how the rest of the game goes. Yeah, that was a fun game for sure. Oh, that's awesome.
And I forgot. That was insane. Because you had a few touchdowns. What was your favorite touchdown out of the handful?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would probably say the first one in Fordham. That was memorable. Yeah. That was the first time I was playing in Memorial Stadium in front of all the fans and stuff like that. So that
was the first time all the fans heard your name. It was like, Chancellor Brewington. We're all like, yo, let's go.
Yeah.
You made a name quick though, because again, you were ready to do your job, whatever it was, catching blocks. I think that's what made a lot of Husker fans really near and dear to their hearts. Is again, you just whatever the role was, you're again ready to block or crack block some dudes. So again, we always enjoyed having you on the field.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
Facts. Yeah, I always called you like the enforcer, or like basically like the tone setter, the guy who, like, when he was on the field, we're about to bring it, and it was like, let's go. So yeah, I always loved it, man. I always loved it. It was a shame that you weren't able to get another year, because obviously it would have been sick to see you out there this year with this running offense. I mean, come on.
Oh, it would have been fun,
dude. Oh my gosh, insane. So first of all, we just want to kind of ask about like what the transition's been like for you from player to now fan and content creator, analyst. Like, what's that been like for you, and like as a journey, as a new stage or new chapter in your life here?
Yeah, it's been a journey, man. There's been different things I've been envisioning and seeing myself doing. I still am playing football. I will be probably playing in USFL or XFL coming up. So
let's go.
Not done with that. Yeah. So
let's go.
I'm gonna do my thing there, then get to where I need to go. But so that's why I'm out in Colorado right now training. But in the meantime, I figured I would start talking a little football, engage with some supporters of Nebraska, and just be a supporter for once. I haven't been able to do that yet. So we started the D&D channel. It's not just me on there. There's a few other guys on there. I'm just putting the channel on my back for right now. But yeah, it's been awesome.
What's new?
It's been awesome. But I just feel like God has put me in a place of like kind of just in a waiting scene, and it's opened a lot of doors for me right now. So I'm thankful for it. And life is good. I cannot complain at all.
Maybe this is the Rocky montage before, the comeback. XFL MVP upcoming,
Exactly.
That's how it goes. What's the message behind like delayed, not denied? How'd that come up?
Yeah, so Javen Wright, his pops, Toby Wright, the great Husker legend, one of the hardest safeties in college and NFL. He had a gym back in Arizona, and we all trained there. And a quote that he would always say is delayed, not denied. And that basically means, what's for you, we'll never miss you, no matter if, the journey is a little longer, whether there's more detours than expected. And in my life personally, I feel that, going from a small school and, not knowing where I was going to play, then ending up at Nebraska and just embracing everything about it. So that's what D&D stands for. It's not do not disturb. Some people are like, what does D&D stand for? We're actually going to drop a video here soon with all the members explaining what it means to us. But to sum it up, it's really like, everyone can relate to it. Everyone's been through some type of trial, obstacle where, things didn't go the way they wanted it to, but you got to keep believing what is for you can't miss you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
I had no idea it was connected to Javen and his dad and that whole message. That's sick. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought we wanted to really talk about or thought was interesting was just kind of now getting into this year, this Nebraska team and some football talk, like things we love to see. I think you have a really interesting perspective because you kind of joined in the middle of the Frost era, like in 2021. And now you're able to kind of witness this transition. And then you had a new coaching staff really come in, at least on the offensive side with Whipple coming in. And then now you look into, 2022 and 2023 now with Rhule. So obviously right now this defense is playing out of their minds. And this defense looks awesome, led by, Javen going out making plays last game. Come on with the INT last game too. So I would be interested to hear your thoughts on what do you think makes this defense right now so dangerous, even compared to even like what last year was and the struggles they had, especially in the first half of last season?
I love talking about this because this is football, man. This is
right. Right.
What they're doing right now is every defense's dream. I feel like the culture they're establishing, the way they're flying to the football, but also what makes a 3-3-5 defense special.
Isaac Gifford.
The different ways you can get to things. You start off a 3-3-5. You think about 3 down linemen. Well, what Coach White is doing, he's not only switching to 3 down linemen. He's bringing the wheel down and or the jack player and making a 4 down front, and then he bring the wheel down and the jack down, making a 5 down front, and bringing Giff in to play backer. So there's so many different things they're doing.
It gives you so much creativity on blitzes, right? Like it just gives you so many looks.
Exactly. So what they're doing, they're also creating an umbrella defense so nothing is getting behind them. They're having 5 DBs on the field. We even saw last game, they moved Tommy into corner and put Q at safety at sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So what makes this defense work is that Ty Robinson and Nash are playing at a high level. So you have to have your interior linemen playing at a high level in a 3-3-5 for it to work. If you're not plugging up the middle, it's not working.
Yeah, and it really was a great fit for us because, again, in the 3-3-5, you need just a big guy in the nose, and we have those positions. We had that in Ty and Nash, and it's been really impressive to see them each step up, especially for me, that Nash Hutmaker, he's taken it up another level. Last game, that was probably the best game that I've seen from him. So Tony White's aggression, the different ways that he loves sending more than 4.
He dials it up.
More than 5. Yeah. And I think, again, not to tease, but just with the RPOs, his willingness to man up, and again, being able to do that. And again, I think we're gonna be able to stop that RPO pretty effectively just because of that aggressiveness. It's been really fun to watch. Do you think that this defense is better than any of the 2 that you've played on? Or
that's a spicy question. 2021 defense versus 2023 defense, especially. Where are you at? Let's put you in a tough spot.
Yeah, this is tough. Okay, I'll say this because I was actually having a conversation with one of my old teammates about this. The star power on 21, I don't think you can compare to that. You got Ben Stilley, you got Damian
JoJo,
James, you got JoJo, Cam, Deontay, Markel.
Oh my goodness,
Luke and then you got CT and Garrett, and Darius Payne. You got a bunch of dogs, right? But the difference between those 2 defenses is the role and the I would say the mentality of the defense. So in the 3-3-5, everyone's been talking about how many players have been playing. In the game, I think 20 some players played in the first half, right? That's unheard of in a lot of defenses. How's that happen? the culture. That is a culture thing. That's a coaching. That's a player buying into the coaching. So it's hard to compare because although 21 has star power, they weren't rotating as many guys and having everyone jump on board and on ship to what the defense needs to do. So I think they're great in their own respects. But what this defense is doing, I can't say that 21, 3 games in was having that
right.
Success,
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Yeah, and I think you're right though. Now the sum is so much greater than the parts for this defense, and it does just feel so much like a unified unit. That again, that they're 100%. They look bought in, are playing together. And man, they just fly to the football, and it just again 21 felt like it was such just great individual efforts by all those guys, and here it just feels like a great teamwork, which is so fun to watch as a fan.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say because like it just feels like the 3-3-5 has unlocked some of these guys' potential. I mean, we saw some of the plays that like Giff made around the line of scrimmage last game were just elite. I mean, they were awesome in the gap and like making tackles that we weren't seeing from guys around the line of scrimmage in years prior. I mean, obviously that's part of the 3-5 is that you have to have safeties come up and make plays. Like Singleton breaking out like he has this year. I mean, obviously Omar Brown's look great. And then, I mean, really, Javen, though, fits so well into what we're doing. It's so exciting to see him break out because the 3-3-5 requires these like hybrid pass rushers and coverage guys. And I feel like Javen fits that role perfectly when it comes to how big he is, but also how athletic he is to go out and make plays. And we saw him drop back in coverage and make an insane play.
It's special. His skill set is so rare. Coming from being a corner in high school, that's all he knew. Thought he was going to be a big corner like Brandon Brown, we used to always say.
Man.
He goes to Nebraska, plays safety, gets hurt, injury, whatever, moves to nickel and now in the box. It's special what he can do. You know what I'm saying? You can bring him down in a five down front and lock him on a tight end and have him choked up and guard him man to man, or you can split him out. He can sometimes even play the post. So it's going to be special to see what the defense evolves into. If you play a pass heavy team like Ohio State in years to come, or it's going to be interesting what they do, against Michigan, even in heavy personnel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, agreed. And again, I said it in the last video too, like that pick from Javen Wright was one of the best, I can't remember a more athletic pick, just so special. Again, those things, they just seem to be coming more often and Quentin he's been good and solid for us anyway, but the last week that pick too, that should have been counted. But yeah, our defense, it is fun to talk about. It's fun that we can even have this conversation to have them look again at a really good defense like in 2021 that we can compare to. It is and also sorry to cut you off, but I forgot to say, like, all that my dog Buddha been through, like he 2 sets of different blood clots. Like I don't think people understand going into 2021 season right before the Oklahoma game, I'm not going to tell a story for him, but a little quick little whatever, he got diagnosed with blood clots, was about to jump on the plane, and missed that year. Then was trying to come back for 2022 season, had another set of blood clots, they thought he had cancer at one point. So he's been through a whole emotional journey, and to see him get that pick, it's not so much about the pick, because skill set wise we know he could do that. It was just it was just rewarding, vindicating for everything that he'd done. That's so cool.
It's just like being his brother, and we're basically family. So him getting that, it just meant a lot to his family and the journey he's been through.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so great.
For sure. Well, with that said, I mean, I think obviously one of the biggest questions of the week is this quarterback debate and this quarterback battle. And I think we definitely want to hear your opinion on the situation right now with Jeff Sims and Heinrich Haarberg, and your thoughts on who should start, who will start, and what that could look like rest of season, or at least this week at the minimum. So where are you at with this right now on this tough debate?
Okay, so you have to understand what Heinrich did is not easy. No matter how anyone feels about it, it's not easy to do. Playing in front of 90,000, getting your first start, real live bullets, having to command an offense, command a team at that, and going down the first drive, being as efficient as he was. And then not only being efficient as he was, getting backed up and, turning the ball over, not so much his fault. I'm not going to say that was his fault by no means, but the way he came back in answer to that is something interesting. And it's not, and me being a former player, me knowing who Heinrich is, dude's a soldier. Dude is a very, very athletic, freakish athlete. And he needs to be on the field. So I don't know if it's going to be a 2 quarterback system where it's like Tim Tebow back in Florida, those type of days. But it needs to be something where if it's 3rd and 1, we're running QB power or we're running QB trap, and you have to stop it. So I would like to see that type of stuff with Heinrich, regardless if they go to Sims to start the game off or later in the game. I would like to see if it's 3rd and 1 or if it's 4th and 1 or if it's 3rd and goal on the half marker or 1 yard line. I would like to see Heinrich in the game.
I agree. Obviously, there's no doubt that he's freakishly athletic and he ran the ball insanely well and obviously incredibly physical. I mean, dude was dropping shoulders. He was dropping it as low as he could get to bring the heat in this game. So, I mean, obviously he's there for it. But, I mean, it's a tough debate, though. If you were head coach, who would you start on Saturday? Put you on the spot.
Here's the thing. I got to play both sides because
okay, no problem.
As a supporter, us three are not at practices, right? And nobody at home is at practices, right? So what our assessment of Jeff Sims is, he turns the ball.
It's limited to what we've seen. Yep. Yeah, it's limited to games, 100%.
Right. So what the coaches know is a very higher level of play from Jeff Sims, right? So they know what he can truly do. So anything that I have to say, towards Jeff specifically, probably is doesn't really mean much, you know what I'm saying? Because we have seen, I would say, his worst.
I mean, for sure.
I mean, he was on the road for 2 games against 2 Power 5 teams.
I mean,
he played, tough opponents. I mean, to start off the season with Minnesota, that's a solid defense. That again was second in the nation's scoring defense last year. I mean,
come on, if you compare it to his time at Georgia Tech, he statistically played his 2 worst games of his career, essentially. It's really hard to imagine.
And I think that's the message. If I'm a coach or a position coach, being a quarterback coach in that room, I'm saying, hey, look, Jeff, we understand what type of football player you could be, and we know what type of football player you are. If anything, it should kind of be like cut it loose mentality. Don't think too much, because guess what? Your best football is ahead of you. So that's the message I would be relaying to him. If you're in that position where you're going to start him, I don't know where they're going to go with it. I just want to sit back and watch good football. So whoever's in there, I want them to play good football, and make the right reads and command the offense. Because it's not so much just about playing the quarterback position. You have to command the offense. You have to make sure the motions are on time. You got to make sure you get the play in on the time. You got to make sure everyone's lined up. You got to make sure your time management is good. You got to make sure communication on the field is flowing good off the field. You got to make sure O-line is in communication with tight ends with running backs, tight ends with receivers. So it's more than just hitting a guy when he's open. And so I commend Heinrich for doing that. And I know Jeff is able to do that as well.
Obviously, when you were at Nebraska, this wasn't the case. But did you ever experience, at Northern Arizona or anywhere else, a team that didn't have a definitive starter and had a quarterback battle throughout the entire season? Is that tough on a team, or how do teams generally, in your experience, deal with situations like that? If that ends up being the case this season, which who knows if it will be.
Yeah, at Northern Arizona, we had one of the best quarterbacks in the nation at the time, Case Cookus. He was the MVP of the USFL.
Oh, crazy!
2 years ago. Yeah. So he was a dog. I think he was with the Rams or somebody, right? But he was a dog, right? Second game of the year, he got hurt. Then backup came in. And, you know, that was our guy. Like, you know, that was, you know, he was, you know, draft pick, whatever, right? So then, you know, second guy comes in, he gets hurt 2 games later, third guy comes in. And what that does to a team, I would say it causes panic for a lot of people. I'm not going to say Nebraska would panic or anything like that. I'm just saying my personal opinion. It's tough on a team because, you know, your quarterback is your commander in chief. That's the one that should be your captain, your go-to. If there's a speech before the game, it's either, you know, your middle linebacker or your quarterback saying the speech, or, you know, your dog defensive tackle. Right. So, you know, it's tough. And the quarterback position is the hardest position on the field. It is. You have to be the smartest player on the field. You got to take care of the ball. You know, everything is dependent on you. And in the Big Ten, guess what? If your quarterback don't play above 90% or about 93% execution rate, you're not going to win a lot of games.
No.
So you look at all the good teams in the Big Ten or even across the country. If your quarterback is playing good, look at Colorado.
Yep.
It's a perfect example.
They don't even have a good defense.
Defense isn't very good, but Shador's playing out of his mind. So guess what?
You put a Heisman quarterback on that team, right? Yeah. Exactly. You know, in a world where maybe both Jeff and Heinrich are great players, but that still makes it a tough situation when you've seen it great from both of them. And then, you know, you're going to have Jeff guys, you're going to have Heinrich guys, and it just makes it tough when you don't have a definitive starter. It feels like that's going to be the case, at least for the next few games, either way. Whether Heinrich plays or whether Jeff plays. So it'll be interesting. My gut says Jeff plays on Saturday, and they kind of use it as like as a let's see what you got type of game against a team that they can play well against. Kind of like Heinrich got his tryout against Northern Illinois. Now Jeff kind of gets his tryout. I'm excited to see it either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I think both of them will play.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Rhule even mentioned that he says he's willing to play both quarterbacks if need be, and he said that in the presser. So yeah, I think it's very possible. So obviously one of the worst things that happened last week was the injuries to Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson, which was just absolutely horrible. I mean, just killer. Yeah. But I guess we wanted to hear your thoughts on like the rest of the running back room and where you're at, Emmett Johnson and the rest of those guys there that could step up. And what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, obviously the situation is tough. I don't have the full details on the Ramir situation. I've been meaning to reach out to him and, you know, if there's anything I can do, you know, because I heard some today that he might not play football again. So I'm not sure.
I just saw in the press conference too. Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on. If it's like because of the injury or I don't know what's going on at all. But you know, my prayers go to him and Gabe. It's crazy. I was talking to Gabe right after the game, and he was like, "Bro, I'm about to, you know, start breaking for 100 a game and all this stuff." And I was like,
right?
Yeah, like,
he was too. Yeah.
And then I seen like someone text me like Gabe out, and I'm like, "What are you talking about, Gabe out?" And he like, like he out for the season. Coach Rhule just whatever. And I was like, "Bro, what?" So my prayers go out to them. You know, season-ending injuries are no joke because you have to understand you go from winter to spring to summer to fall camp. Put everything into season, and it gets
unreal, man.
So I hope both guys, you know, they're gonna grow from it. So it's really a blessing because I already know I've had
you've been through it
6-7 surgeries. Yeah, so I know how it goes. You know, it's not fun, and for Ramir, you know, I'm gonna be talking to him because doctors have told me I'll never play football again before last season, and I would have a 0% chance. But you know. God is good. Glory to him. But so I understand what they're going through, but I know they're also going to coach the guys up and get AG and Emmett right. And I think there's a freshman or something, or there's another running back.
Yeah, Quentin Ives.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know
he's a bruiser. He's a huge dude. So really? it's just tough. I think. Obviously, just. You know, we need them to stay healthy at this point. That's really what needs to happen here. So let's hope they can.
Yeah, two of the same position in one game, 1/3 of the way in the season, or 1/4. That's crazy.
One thing that actually I really wanted to ask you about was obviously you came in in 2021, so it was like Frost and Lubick's offense, and then 2022 was then a transition to Mark Whipple's offense. So the whole team was learning a new offense, a vertical passing game, and a change there. So like, what was that experience for the team in that regard? And what do you feel like the guys go through? And like, what's the learning curve for guys going into a whole new coaching staff this year? And like, what do you feel like that effect is? And like, can you kind of like give the fans kind of like that experience or help us get into a player's shoes when it comes to learning a new offense and trying to install that in the early parts of a season?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. But, you go from Frost to, he's an offensive genius. I stand firm on that. There's the way he would think of things, and, I remember we would just be in meetings sometimes, and all of a sudden he would just pop his head in and be like, so if he wouldn't even say it, he wouldn't even like get our attention. He would just come in. Hey, so if we ran, trips right, Z orbit, 42, X cross Z, whatever, y'all know what to do. What do you do? And he would say, Chance, what do you do? I'd be like, we're in protection. I got the end or something like that. And he'd be like, all right, and leave. And it would happen like every week, right? And so like he was a genius. And also Coach Cooper, Steve Cooper, he's the OC I think at Rhode Island. Him and Frost, dialed up a lot of good things, man. Steve Cooper is going to be an OC for a big time program. He's a special dude, but going from Frost and Lubick had his own system when he was at Washington. He did a lot of stuff there that he brought, but it was really Frost's show. I think everyone kind of knew that from the offensive standpoint in 21. And then there was a shift going into 22 where Whipple came in and Frost would call some stuff, but it was more so Whipple's terminology. We kept some terminology from Frost, but if a fan wants to know what it's like I don't even know. I'll give you an example. How about that? I'll give you an example. So,
okay, yeah, for sure.
So what Whipple liked to do, he was real pro style. So we would have a set of 10 plays, right? We have a set of 10 plays. Let's say we'll call them Husker 11, Husker 22, Husker 33, whatever, right? So Husker 11 was just a drive press. So it's just a drive concept with a press concept, right? So, instead of calling drive press, Whipple would call Husker 11, right? So there was different things that we changed there. There's different formations. We changed some formations. It'd be, say our 3-by-1 formation was trips right. We might change it to something else, right? Just for it to be under the same umbrella of what Whipple calls. So it all made sense. There'd be some times where it's like, wait, wasn't slice this last year, but slices this year, right? So it's some variation. And then also with Coach Rhule coming in, he brought a lot of stuff from the Bears offense, and we watch a lot of Bears tape on some of their outside zone schemes, inside zone schemes. So that was a lot of the stuff we ran last year was from the Bears. And then when Frost obviously got let go during Georgia Southern, it was Whipple's show. So Rhule would call most of the run. He would be organized the run stuff, and Whipple would call his pass stuff. But what the guys are going through is really just a bunch of terminology. It's all football at the end of the day. A post is a post, but if we call it pin, or if we call it penguin or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's all the same, right? It's summertime. I know they was locked in on meetings and in that terminology down.
By the fourth game, should most all players have it down? Or like, do the freshmen struggle more? Or what's that like for the newer players in the program? Does it matter? What does that experience look like for them? Do you think it's different?
It's really hard to expect a freshman to understand a college playbook because, depending on what position, like if you're a lineman, especially, it's insane. If you're a tight end, it's hard. It's really hard. But if I would say the more easier ones are receivers, I would say. But still, then there's, if you're, I'll give you an example. If we're just running a regular, I have a stop route, right? And all of a sudden, it's cover 2. well, you don't run a stop route into cover 2, you convert that, right? So there's different conversions that you don't do in high school. And there's next level stuff, even in the blocking scheme. You know, you got to push crack, you got to get backside safety, you got to know where the pitch read is, especially in this offense. You have to know, where the quarterback's pulling the ball, if you're blocking for the give side or the pull side. So it's just, it's a bunch of different stuff especially for a freshman to be keyed in on.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable with Nebraska's like playbook and your role once you got there?
Well, what was tough was I was playing receiver for a week and a half, right? And I was
before you got transitioned to tight end.
Yeah, I was finally getting it down. I had a really good like last day of practice, right? And then Austin Allen, Hickman goes down.
Oh yeah. Because didn't you come to the program a little bit later? Was it over the summer?
Yeah, I came like 2 weeks for fall camp.
Oh, geez.
Wow,
okay.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's hard. Insane.
Yeah, Allen goes down, Hickman goes down.
John Goodwin goes down. And then Trav sprains his ankle.
Right.
And so Austin comes back. And for the first 2 days, bro, I don't know what an even front is, an odd front is. I don't know. So they come up to me, they say, no, you want it. Coach Frost like, hey, Brew, you want to play tight end for us? I said, oh, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And so he like, oh, we got a bunch of numbers down. I'm like, dude, I'm 212, 213. Like, I'll do it. I'm a dog. I'll do it. Because they seen me. Right. They seen me like I was going against the black shirts and I was knocking people out at receiver and stuff like that. So it was like, you physical. Like, we know you physical. So for the first like next 2 days of fall camp, like we're in full pads and whatever. And I'm just sitting on the sideline. Like, I don't know what anything is. I don't know the plays. I'm still learning receiver plays because Frost, playing receiver for Frost, you got to know so much in the running game. Like, it was insane. So, that was tough, but thank goodness I had Coach Becton. That was literally the biggest blessing, I could ever ask for as a player, man. Like, if anyone wants to know why I know so much about football is, during meetings, I literally would have my notebook out and I would be writing novels of what he would say. I would just be literally writing novels. I remember he went on an interview and was like, Chance don't say a lot, but every time I see him, he just writing down stuff. And literally, I would just write down whatever he would say. And then I'll go home at night and I'll be like, all right, like, I don't know what this is. Like, okay, I got to go in early and learn this, right? So each day was a learning thing. I learned so much about football in general, and I didn't even going into the first game of Illinois, like I didn't know half the plays because it was just too much. I really didn't get the playbook until like midway through the year. That was kind of where I got sense of the playbook. So that's why they put me on goal and stuff, because I was still learning. I was hip to a lot of stuff, but there was just too much information, and things change week to week. And in season, you put in so many different wrinkles.
What did putting in a wrinkle look like in a week of like, oh, we found this? Like where, like, how'd that conversation go? Like you said, Frost was genius, so he probably sees something. And then how does that get implemented throughout the team?
To answer that question, it would just be like, remember Michigan week when Austin caught that he like bluffed the backer, then he caught like a little seam.
Yeah.
So that was like a big play, right? So like going into that week, we have that in from, we maybe ran that one time in fall camp, right? We saw in Michigan, okay, like whenever, this tight end insert and he go get this linebacker flows heavy and safety triggers. Okay. So, I think someone ran that insert, not that same play, but we have that wrinkle of, bluffing that insert where we're trying to get that linebacker and we're going around it. So that's how you watch film. Okay. So we have this wrinkle. I'm not even watching for it until I see, okay, they adjust like that.
If I remember right, it was Iowa who ran it against them that year, because we were talking about it in the breakdown video. And we're like, yo, the seams are crazy. This is the only way Iowa's moving the ball.
So, I mean, it's literally stuff like that, man. So and we call the Big Ten a copycat league. So, if let's say, we play Michigan coming up and somebody who's played Michigan already has an explosive play. I guarantee if that team that is playing Michigan is smart, they would run that same play, but in their own terminology and in their own scheme. So if they hit them on 3 verticals with a shallow, okay, we're not going to line up in 3x1 and run 3 verticals with a shallow.
Yeah.
We might go 2x2 and motion it and run
motion into it
with it. Yeah, so that's how you have to think, especially just playing football, like especially being a defensive player. They're never going to line up in the same thing over and over and over. So as an offense, you always got to catch them off guard with motions, shifts, check with me on the sidelines. Okay, we like it, or get out of it.
Crazy. Well, then I think we can first talk about we wanted to talk about some of the breakout or potentially underrated / breakout players rest of season. And then we can do kind of like official score predictions for the game on Saturday. So first of all, do you have any guys that come to mind when I say guys who are underrated, guys that Husker Nation doesn't fully understand that they're going to break out like rated this year, guys who are underappreciated for what they bring to the table?
I would say obviously Javen Wright.
Facts. Let's go. I think he was underrated until that pick, and now suddenly everyone knows the name.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, that's standard now. You know what I'm saying? Like the bar is set higher now for each game. Him having the highest PFF grade of the defense.
Like, yeah, I was just gonna say he's the highest graded PFF player on defensive side right now.
Yeah,
so,
I think
let's go.
I could literally go down the line. I think Omar Brown is playing great football. I think he's playing physical for his size.
Dude,
I think Deshaun is playing.
He does.
Yeah, I think Deshaun's playing physical. I think Mekhi Gaber. I think the way he's emerged and the way he's playing super physical, and you can tell he's playing fearless, which is good to see. You of course say Luke and Nick, you like that. That's standard. But John Bullock, I think he's
John Bullock.
Being able to run to the football, and the way they're rotating them backers, I think Jamari's playing good. Having him back is good. And on the offense side of the ball, I would say AG. I think AG gonna really start to take over some games here soon. I think getting Borkature involved a little bit more in the passing game would be key. He's a good receiving tight end. But you have to get Billy involved. You have to.
We've got to get him like ignited a little bit. Started, get him into the games a little bit. We started doing it a little bit last game, but I just feel like
he had the nice touchdown.
Yeah, the nice release on the touchdown. Yeah.
And we did a couple of things second game, but still, we haven't fed him enough. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Get it, and I would say your wide receiver 1 is Marcus.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
What I would like to see is getting him moved into the slot a little bit more, making the shorter throws for the quarterbacks, making the reads a little bit easier for Jeff and Heinrich, and just causing some different matchup stuff. Maybe moving Thomas to the outside sometimes. And just creating some type of matchups, with the defense. And then, I think Nuri's playing really good at guard for us right now. I think he's playing at a high level. I think Bryce has actually stepped his game up a lot.
A lot
since last year. Yeah,
big time.
I
said, bro, you playing good football. Just keep it up. Like, just keep going. But yeah, I think I covered everyone. Obviously Q's playing good football. Ty and Nash playing good football. The emergence of Youngin, Cam, that's been big. Yeah, that's been big. Him and Prince. And then I think once Blaze comes back, he was dealing with a shoulder. That's why he didn't play as much last game.
Rhule said he's playing this week.
Yeah. So I think having him back, he's 265. Look like Joey Bosa. So. Having him back it would be good.
Yeah, I was gonna say because right now we have what are your thoughts on 3 true freshman defensive linemen playing quite a bit? We have Cam Lenhart, Prince Will, and Riley Van Poppel, who have all played quite a bit so far. I think I have 26 snaps for Van Poppel, 51 for Uman Milan. and 90 for Cam. So a lot of snaps so far through 3 games.
Yeah, that's a lot. The adjustment is, I would say those are the type of positions where you can plug guys in D-line because, if they make mistakes, it's not that detrimental to the defense or to the team. If you were to plug a freshman in at right guard or left guard,
right.
If there's one breakdown,
all it takes is one, right? Yeah.
But that's not to discredit what they're doing. They're playing good football, and that's why they're in there. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely goes to show like the potential of the program building that Rhule can implement here. I mean, with you guys, so many young guys getting so many snaps, pretty significant.
Yeah. What's the emotion like difference between, again, being on the field, now being to a fan? How does those feelings change throughout the game? Yeah, just tell us how that's different.
Just like, like the coaching points and like the different things, if you see something wrong, you're like, bro, I know we drilled that a ton when I was there. Like, why'd you mess? Like it make me want to call, some of the tight ends, be like, bro, what are you doing? Right. But they're playing good football. Right. I'm just saying, like, everyone messes up a couple times, but
for sure.
You know the backstory to a lot of things, like, oh yeah, we ran that against, Illinois last year, third drive of the game, 3rd and 10, you know what I'm saying? So, it's funny watching games with me. Like, I'll be watching with my mom. Sometimes she like to watch the games with me, and I'll be like, Mom, they gonna run this. Oh, he gonna motion over, then this gonna cause a matchup here. And they motion, they're checking manners. Like, so I'm all fanned out. I'm geeked out, but it's awesome though. I like it. Obviously I wish I was playing, but
obviously,
it's still fun though, man. It's been an experience for sure.
Another thing I wanted to ask was about just when it comes to making mistakes, like what were the most difficult things that you felt like you came up against, and like what were the things that defenses did that caused you to make mistakes? Generally, like what were the most difficult things that you had to overcome when on the field like that?
At the tight end position or as an offense in general?
Yeah, maybe offense in general, but specifically for you, at least, for sure.
Bro, we were so dialed in. Coach Beck had us so dialed in.
Yeah.
We literally, anything that came up during the week, I'll tell you a funny story. How about this?
Perfect.
I'll tell you a story,
Love
man.
It.
So we're playing Rutgers, right? And and we get, it's like 3rd and 8, and Coach Whipple calls double stops with a middle field read basic. So middle field's open, meaning 2 high. The number 2 receiver will run a post. If it's 1 high, he would just run a basic. It's just 12-yard in, right? Pretty standard.
Yeah.
So I'm in the backfield playing fullback at the time, and so we're out there. Then Rutgers calls a timeout. So we go back to the sideline, and Coach Beck says, "Look, during the week we talked about that Frisco blitz, right? So Frisco would just mean free safety would plug in. He would creep down and he would blitz, right? And my responsibility at the fullback position at the time was I would have will to free safety, right? So if the will came, then the guard would pick him up. But then if the free safety came, I have to see that. And it's a really hard pickup. Like it's a really hard pickup to see in the backfield. You can't really see all the actions, right? And before I went out there, he said, look, they're going to bring that Frisco blitz. Be ready for it. And I'm like, Coach, like, how do you know this? Like, why would they bring it? First of all, I get why they would bring it, but how would you just predict this right now? So I go out there and I see the safety this free safety creep down. And I said, there's no way. There is no way. And I swear to goodness, I could pull up the tape. Frisco blitz, free safety comes, I pick it up, and I go to the sideline, and he goes, what happened on that play? And I was like, they brought Frisco. And he was like, did you pick it up? And I was like, hell yeah. And he was like, that's my boy. That's how dialed in we was, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So with that said, I think we can get into some predictions. So what are your thoughts on the game? Any X factors that you might have heading into this game, or potential bowl predictions, or of course a score prediction? Where are you at with this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I would say expect some takeaways, expect some turnovers on defense. I would like to see maybe a score on defense. I think offense, we're going to see a little bit more passing, run the ball late in the game, seal the game. So I would say probably, 35-6.
Okay.
Let's
so a
go.
dominant performance.
We covered the 19.5 points. So
yeah.
nice.
Now we were one block away from a pick 6 last game. So I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, let's get the block this time, right? Like, yo, come on. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity. I mean, this defense is eating it up right now, and as long as it only makes sense, hopefully they can keep it up. I mean, Louisiana Tech's they got some talented players, Smoke Harris and a few other guys that can get the ball and move the ball quick. But I think both of us think it's gonna be pretty close. I think both of us are kind of around like that 20-point type of win. So I think I'm a little bit more worried about the offense and trying to replace that production from Gabe Ervin. And we were just starting to get him involved in the pass game, and I was so excited about that. So it's really disappointing to lose that pass game involvement from him after just finally getting to see it. But if we can keep moving with the offense, even if we have a different quarterback in there or whatever it is, a new running back, suddenly this team looks really dangerous heading into Big Ten play. So that's what I'm looking for.
I agree with Chancellor too. And we'd seen Sims at his worst, but I think that there's a lot of good from him, and we've seen that from the tape too. From Georgia Tech, that he's done a lot of good things, and I'm excited to see some of that again against a lesser opponent. Get him comfortable again. We know he can throw the ball. We saw him sling it great in the spring game. So I really want to see what he can do. Just feeling comfortable, feeling free, and yeah, I'd love to see that from him this week. And because I would love to have the problem of two really good quarterbacks. I think that would be
what a terrible thing.
Yeah, that'd be a really nice position to be in as a Nebraska fan.
Facts.
To have two really good quarterbacks that you can know that could get the job done and win. So yeah, I'm excited to see that this week. And yeah, I think I picked us to on the under. It was like 48.5. I just hit just under, and then I think I had us win by 18 points or something like that.
But yeah, I mean, long story short, I think that's going to be it for this video. So obviously, Chancellor, we appreciate you, man. So first of all, obviously, here's the red carpet for you. Plug your channel. What's going on? Like, where can people find you?
Yeah, D&D at D&D Vids with a Z.
Yes, sir. Links in the description.
Yeah, links in the description. I think by the time you're seeing this, I will just dropped another video. So yeah, let's go. Subscribe, comment, watch all the videos, and I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Oh, dude. I mean, it's a blast. I mean, honor, obviously. And we'll definitely hope to do this again in the future. Got to fill that time in the summers, man. So hopefully we get some good content in.
So excited to see you be doing content and posting great things. Yeah, it's just really exciting for us. And as always, guys, we appreciate everything. Let us know you're down to what you think. Let us know your scoring predictions.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you go follow C Brew and D&D channel. And as always, guys, I'm Caleb. That's Josh. That's Chancellor. This has been Big Red Homestead. We will see you next video. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red, baby.